Welcome back to Echo Ridge, and boy has it been a minute for the farm. Well, at least a minute for you, because in the past week I've done, well, a lot of digging in the spare time, and yet we still have a lot more digging to go. Mental note, do not start a colony on the big asteroid anymore. It takes entirely too much time. Today, I think we're going to go for a voyage to the next planetoid over and see what other plants we can find. Reason being is I'm thinking about putting in some sleet wheat and some bristle blossoms so we can eventually have some of the wonderful space food, the berry sludge. The great thing about the berry sludge is, well, it never goes off. Unfortunately, we don't have any sleet wheat, although we do have 2 blossom seeds that happen to come through the printing pod. In the meantime, while I wait for dupes to do things, I'm also starting to clear out all of this, which means I need to get rid of this water, and I suppose this water over here. And I was originally looking for a path that would end up to one of our ingest lines so that we could add the water to our collection. When I realized there's really no point, we have plenty of water, so we might as well just dump it in the vacuum of space. And part of the reasons why I'm starting to clear all this stuff out, in addition to all of this that I've cleared out, is because we're going to need to get access to the supply teleporter output in order to collect said sleet wheat. Yeah, there's a path through here, but I've got to do all the digging anyways, so we might as well do it here. Liquid sulfur. I completely forgot that we had one of these here, which would be great for getting these spindly grub fruits to grow. Now I'm between a rock and a hard place. Do I do the liquid sulfur geyser today, or do I do the sleet wheat? No, we're not doing both. Well, maybe. We'll see how it goes over here, and I'll give you an update in a little bit. I guess right now we have to decide who we're going to be sending. I am confident that there is sleet wheat over on this planetoid, in addition to a lot of other vents and geysers. The reason why is because it has a tundra biome, and tundra biomes have the sleet wheat. But since we haven't gone through the teleporter, we don't know too much about it. So I guess it begs the question of which one of our farmers are we going to send over. I need a farmer with a decent amount of digging, so we can go up to our hard digging here. And our diggers are Jetpack Dullahan, Patrick Gordon, Pav, Gina, and Elongated Bread. Jetpack Dullahan has a morale requirement of 26, so that doesn't seem like a great idea. Patrick Gordon's also at a 26. I have a feeling I'm going to have to skill scrub somebody. Pav is 26. Gina's 29, even better. And Elongated Bread is also 26. And it looks like we were supposed to skill scrub Jetpack Dullahan a long time ago anyways, because they don't even like to do the digging. In fact, neither does Pav. What have we been doing here? Alright, the first dupe I came across that actually enjoys to do the digging is Gina. So we're going to skill scrub Gina, give them the bare essentials, and that's who we'll send on our little trip. I thought I had a skill scrubber around here, but apparently not. And who's peeing at the entrance? Honestly, there's been no chaos. This seems like a good enough spot. We'll put it down right there. Load it up. While Gina's getting the martini treatment, we need to prepare ourselves for opening up another planetoid. And what I mean by that is, as soon as we pop through here, it's going to give the simulation a lot more to be calculating. So it's probably time for a good old-fashioned culling. Look, I don't like doing this any better than you do, but sometimes it's a necessity. And what is this supposed to be doing that's not even powered? And the rails don't even give me an indication of what I planned for this. Was this my meat collector? Rail comes down here, goes through here. No, this is getting Oh, was this the eggshell collector? It was, because this one is collecting meat, so this one's supposed to be collecting eggshells. Disaster averted. Next up on the culling, all the wonderful larvas. And all the crabby boys. And all the plug slugs. I could also cull a lot of the fish, but I really like this cooked seafood that we're getting. Plus, they turn over a lot faster, which gives us a lot more eggshells, which in the end gives us a lot more steel because of the lime that we can get from it. The good thing about Gina is they've been on the colony for quite some time, and you can tell by all the wonderful skill points that they have. In fact, by looking at the bio, they are 1215 cycles old. We'll start off by just giving them 1 dose of hard digging, and to be honest, we really don't have a reason to do much else. I suspect there'll be some granite over there, hence the reason for the 1 hard digging. But by keeping a low morale requirement, we won't have to worry about stress as much. Oh, Gina, you've won an all-expenses-paid trip to another planetoid. Bon voyage. The good thing is they are in a suit. Now, we're going to take that suit off as soon as they get there, but if we ever need a suit, we'll have one. Now, before they pee in our wonderful, nice water supply, let's get some bathrooms set up. Question is where? Is it me or does this point of interest building look a little different than some of the others? I'm used to a little brain jar and some other goodies in here. Plus, I don't recognize these long windows. I suppose this area here is decent. I was thinking about putting it over here, except we'd have to have sinks on both sides of the potty, otherwise Gina would definitely get the food poisoning. And what I mean by that, and I'll give you a quick example here. Wait, where are you going? Where are you going, Gina? No, do the digging. Oh, we got a bio door here? Yeah, this area is a lot different than I'm used to. Stand by, Gina's decided it's time for a snack, which means it's almost time for night-night time. I think we can go ahead and red alert them. And that way, yeah, they won't have as many calories, but they're gonna be fine. Oh, look at this. They have 3,600 calories, and their stamina is still at 44%. But the point I was making earlier is if I put an outhouse here, for instance, and then I put the sink here, like we normally do, that way every time they went to the potty, they would end up using the outhouse. Well, this is our only source of clean water right now, which means I'd have to put a pitcher pump here, which means this pitcher pump would start to get very, very nasty. Not a big deal, just not ideal. One way around it would be to put 2 sinks, but instead of doing all of that, we could just put the potties over here. And I think we have enough material right now, so I can get rid of that. Now this is going to require some super hard digging, and despite all the digging that Gina's done before, they only have a 4 in excavation, so it's going to take them a little while to do that super hard digging. Well, I suppose they have a 6 now since we put them in that skill. We're also going to need to still dig this up because we still have to put the pitcher pump in. I guess we'll start it off there, that way they don't have to get sopping wet. And then we'll put a wonderful wash basin here and an outhouse right there. Now that would only be 12 tiles, which is going to be perfect for a nice latrine because the minimum is 12 tiles. So we won't even dig that sandstone, and I'll put a wonderful door there, and that'll be +1 to morale. Remember, we have to maintain at least a 3 morale in order to keep Gina nice and happy. Quick update, they're down to 32% stamina and 3,500 calories. Yes, their bladder is absolutely full, but, you know, they're going to end up peeing. We'll pick it up. In fact, before they do, can we close this little area in? Because, of course, they would end up peeing as they're putting the tile in. No big deal. Just don't want to be sopping wet. We're already up to 17% stress. I think we've pushed this experiment a little too far, so let's put a wonderful cot down, say right here. Make that a priority of 6, and then we'll turn off the red alert. All right, Gina, you can stop working now. Get some num-nums and go to sleep. In fact, they're probably going to pass out before they end up going to sleep, depending on where they are in the schedule. Nope, they're in the middle of their workday. I guess they were just hungry. At the end of the day, Gina decided to sleep it off right next to the cot instead of sleeping in the cot. They almost made it. We've got the wash basin and the outhouse almost being complete. There is a little bit of dirt, we have some water, and we have a latrine and a barracks. We're doing pretty good. We can up this game just a little bit by adding a mess table as soon as I get 200 more kilos worth of metal ore. And now it's time to find the goodies. I don't see a tundra. Is this it here? Through the uranium? I don't see a tundra biome. Oh my goodness, it's very chilly. Might as well not even worry about putting plants here. I suppose we'll unearth a little bit of oxygen right up here. There's quite a bit. And then we'll start digging down through this part here just to see what we can find. Otherwise, they are 100% going to get hypothermia in here. And maybe in our voyages, we'll find another tundra biome. Speaking of which, we also need to find the teleporter. The good thing is there's a lot more oxalite here and another pocket of oxygen. So I don't have to worry about Gina's food or oxygen for quite some time. Oh, look, there's another beautiful pocket right here, too. Before we continue on with that trip, I think it'd be a good idea to go down here and mop this up. I don't necessarily care about the polluted water, but I also sort of need a carbon dioxide sink. And that way I'll sort of be able to set it and forget it with Gina and not worry too much about what they're doing. So we're going to go dig a little bit of this up. This will also free some of this oxalite. Unfortunately, there is a pretty significant abyssalite break here, hence the reason for all the chill. But for the most part, they're going to be working in and over here. So, well, we should be fine. So I suppose in the meantime, we have a liquid sulfur geyser to tame. Now the problem with the liquid sulfur is it comes out at 165 degrees. At 337, it turns into a gas, but at 115, it turns into a solid. This is the sulfur that we want. I was looking around. You're telling me we haven't built a debris chiller? This entire planetoid, we don't have a single debris chiller? What have we been doing? Ooh, that's a lot of bleachstone. Can we get this picked up, please? Thanks. I suppose the only really debris chillers we've been using are on the metal volcanoes themselves. So what about just using the same design that we use for volcanoes for the liquid sulfur geyser? To be completely honest, I am 100% fed up with building thermo-aqua-tuner setups, but hey, we gotta do what we gotta do. Might as well get some digging in here done. Oh, there is some liquid in here. I'll be honest, it'll be fine. Hopefully that liquid will drop down into here. In fact, I'll make sure it does by putting a block here and say here. There we go. Now no one should get hurt in the construction of this strip mining operation. You know, dupe safety and all. That way we have a nice clean area in order to be able to work with this liquid sulfur geyser. Oh, we're going to empty all this too. Maybe I should make a bigger pond. We'll just open it up like this. And that way all those liquids dropping will have plenty of area to go into without spilling over the side. Quick checkup on Gina. Everything looks to be going okay. I do want to make sure some of these plants are harvestable though, because this could fend off the munchies here in the future. I suppose we'll get that muck root ready as well. We have plenty of algae. If we ever do run low on oxygen, we can put an oxygen diffuser in here. Oh, there's even more oxalite in here as well. Might as well open that up too. You know, despite for having 30 duplicants, well, 29 currently on this colony, there's only 4 working on this digging project at any one time. And that was after we improved a lot of the automation in and around the colony. I suppose here's a printing pod. Maybe we can add more. Nope, there's no farmers or ranchers. So we'll take another pufflet. I'm occasionally adding pufflets with the idea of moving them out here so they eventually gobble up all this polluted oxygen. It's like a traveling deodorizer, because then the dupes go and pick up all the slime that the puffs drop, and we feed the slime to all of our dust caps in here. Speaking of which, food's doing pretty good. Leading the way is the cooked seafood, lettuce, and mushroom wraps. The refrigerator typically stays filled with surf and turf, despite the fact that it could also grab mushroom quiche, mushroom wraps, and finally the surf and turf. So I'm not exactly sure why it prioritizes the surf and turf over the other two, especially considering the mushroom quiche is a superb +5 food, and the surf and turf is only a great +4 food. So I don't know the rhyme or the reason. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. The wonderful Jenna has finished all the dig commands here, so we're going to keep going south. And it looks like this entire bottom area is protected by this giant uranium biome. I guess they're called radioactive biomes, aren't they? Yes, radioactive biomes. But there's a tundra biome somewhere on this planetoid. Unless this is the tundra biome, and the radioactive biome just printed right over it when the colony was being created. Look at this. Look at all this wonderful solid carbon dioxide. That's pretty chilly down there. I've queued up a few more dig commands for Gina, so we can continue our exploration. First, we're going to go to the west part of the planetoid. Oh my goodness, there's another frozen friend. And then we're also going to dig over to the east side. We did find the supply teleporter output, but we're still waiting for the input. I've also decided that this barracks is much nicer because it has a bunch of decor. So I think this is where Gina is going to sleep. Where's my raw minerals? Did Gina get stuck? Oh, of course Gina got stuck. Nope. You're going down first. Nope, down further. There we go. Now you can dig that. Silly Gina. And then we'll build a wonderful ladder way here. Make sure there's enough area for the oxygen to come up. And once that happens, we'll deconstruct this cot. Of course, there is a lot of good decor in here too because of all these windows. No, I think this'll do. It looks nice and cozy. I also need to remember to put the outhouse on a priority of 6 so that way when it does get full, Gina is more likely to take care of it. And since it's nice and chilly here, I'm also going to set up another wash basin and a compost. In fact, I'll put the compost over here. That way they're guaranteed to go past the sink. And that way, even after messing with all the polluted dirt that's going to be coming out of the outhouse, it's going to get cleaned and then Gina will clean themselves. and I don't have to worry about the heat coming from the compost because, well, it's nice and chilly. Several cycles later, we're still digging. Time for some more 9x speed. I had thought when I installed the speed mod that I had went and set this 3-arrow fast speed to ×9, but when I went and checked, it was actually in ×10. I like to keep it at ×9 because ×3 is the fastest that the game starts with ×1, ×2, and ×3, with the idea being, well, 9 is divisible by 3, so it might help the simulation a little bit. I don't know. Our drainage plan seems to be working out very nicely. It's going to take this pump quite some time because, well, all of this water is going to the vacuum of space, but so is a lot of polluted water because our polluted water tank is full. We have finished digging around the liquid sulfur geyser, so I suppose we can get started on this. I'll let all the digging happen in the background, no big deal. I still need to clean all this up, and it's a lot. But we're going to go with the standard setup, except I noticed that just by force of habit, I always end up having the volcano on the right side. I don't know why it is, but it seems like all my designs end up this way. So we're going to fight the system and do it the other way this time. We're going to start off with a small liquid lock. I'm not too worried about the heat coming out of the liquid sulfur geyser. It is 165 degrees, so anything that we put in here that's steel will be able to deal with this just fine. But I still need to do a lot of work in here, such as siphoning it out, so we are going to put in the standard liquid lock that we will end up getting rid of shortly. I can't even start siphoning this out until they get all these sweeps done either because, well, there's bleach stone in here, so we're going to increase the priority of those. And then I'm going to grab some crude oil. That seems fine. Oh no, we've unearthed more slugs. Kill them. Kill them all. You will not turn into sponge slugs. Not on my watch. Okay, maybe we'll just move them. I'm feeling in a generous save the slugs type of mood. This project's also going to require some power, so we might as well, since we're going through all this, extend this spine. Where's all this water going to drop if we drop it? Oh, that'll be a pain. I suppose I could be fitfully lazy and grab the power from that side, or how about I just do this? I'll make it a heavy watt plate. That way all of this water and liquid can't escape this little bowl here, and then we'll dig all this out as well. Gina, how are you? You doing okay? All the dig commands have been done. Very nice. Still no tundra biomes. We can get rid of the cot though, because we have a better bedroom. And nothing revealed over here. We did find some more iron ore. That's always nice. I suppose we can make a little water basin here and then keep digging over. And then once all that's finished, we'll end up... Oh, I should probably unearth all this wonderful oxalite here. Although it'll probably get stifled a little bit by carbon dioxide sinking down there. But no big deal. And we'll go up to the point where there's chlorine. I still don't see neutronium over here. We do see it on this side. So we know that's the spread there. But not so far on this one. Of course, if you ever want to find out exactly where the edges of the maps are, you just got to go to space. Because we know... this is the edge right here. Okay, how did this dumpster fire happen? Where did this water come from? This is not what we want. Let me stop the oil pumping for a second. The good news is we did put in that joint plate though, so we can start bulldozing all of this now. And we'll try to move all the slugs. I don't need any more protesters at my door. And we'll just extend this ladder here. And there's not a lot of liquids up here other than some random water at the top of the space biome. So I think it's safe to unearth this. It might make the transportation a little easier. We'll also mop that up. I should probably extend the transit tube up there as well. This has been a dumpster fire for quite a long time. Look, I know it's not pretty, but it will do the job. Now we have another wonderful little spot where the dupes can drop off. I'll go up one higher, so maybe one day that'll be a floor or something. Old Gina has pretty much explored the right side of the planetoid, and we did find the supply teleporter input. Unfortunately, no reason to use it quite yet because, well, I haven't found any sleet wheat. I found a bunch of geysers that we could unearth, but, well, we don't need them. We're also up to 20,000 calories. A lot of it's because Gina's not forced to eat the nutrient bars because there's so many wild planted plants over here that we're able to grab some food right off the land. About our last bastion of hope is going to be down in this tundra biome, or what I'm thinking is a tundra biome, but I don't even see any sleet wheats down here. So it looks like Gina's gonna have to suffer through some hypothermia. Sorry. We'll dig through here just like this. It's not opportune, but it's about the only place we have to look anymore. We've reached the bottom of this little pond, so we can extend our gloriously large power spine here on the left side of the map, which is going to give us access to power over here, which means we'll be able to continue the next stage of our liquid sulfur geyser taming, starting with, yeah, that'll work. And we don't even have to worry about lead wires in here because the hottest it'll ever get is the 165 degrees. We do have a liquid lock. It's not a great one, and we still have more oil coming, but it's a liquid lock. I'm also adding a liquid pump over here to join up with the liquid pump over here to continue sending all of these liquids off to the vacuum of space. As this is vacuuming out, we've finished the liquid lock. I think I'm going to add one whole layer of water in here. Now the entire box is going to be 32 tiles, which means if I wanted 100 kilos of steam pressure in each tile, I would need to add 3,200 kilos worth of water. But 50 kilos would be just fine. So I'm going to add 1,600 kilos of water to the bottom of this and then uncork it, analyze it, and then start putting in the cooling system. Let's not forget about this water. I'll come back here in a minute. Surely I won't forget. We have a glorious vacuum, so we can get rid of the gas pump now. And we're sitting at around, 400 kilos, so a little bit more water. Looks like we had 2 bottles drop off. Typically, if you get full bottles, they're dropping off 200 kilos at a time. So it's now time for me to build a thermal aqua tuner. Now I know you've heard the resentment in my voice. I'm okay. I just am tired of building thermal aqua tuner setups. It's a thing. Ask anybody with 2,000 to 3,000 hours in the game. They become a little monotonous. As for the cooling loop, we're going to be cooling down this tile right here. I think we'll use some nice aluminum. And then the steam turbine that's going to be sitting on top. Then it's going to come right back through. And then right back into the aqua tuner. We'll have our liquid vent right here, splashing all the steam turbine coolant onto the thermal aqua tuner. And just so we can have a nice pretty picture, let's also sweep all of this up. And I think we will do the pro level move of only using the steam turbine when we have to. So I'll put a thermo sensor in here and then a smart battery. In goes the battery and the steam turbine. Connect up the vents, insulated here, we can use standard here. Actually, I don't want to end up bursting that pipe, so we'll use insulated. Otherwise, the little drop of water coming through that pipe could get too hot in this room and then burst, and then we'd have to get in and fix it, and then it'd be all sorts of badness. Next up for some automation, first to the aqua tuner, and then to the steam turbine and the battery. And what we're going to say is if it ever gets above 200 degrees, you can definitely turn on. Otherwise, just let it get hotter and hotter in here, which is not a big deal because everything's made out of steel. But you might be thinking, well, Echo, it's only ever going to get 165 degrees. Well, the thermal aqua tuner is going to keep creating heat. So it is possible for it to get above 165 when we have the thermal aqua tuner in here. Oh, but wait a minute. We wanted the sulfur to get down to 115 degrees. This is the interesting dilemma for the liquid sulfur tamer. But I have a solution for it too. But first, we got to turn this whole area into steam so we can continue our next step. So now I'm thinking about the design, and what I'm going to do is force all this sulfur into a little pocket. Say right here. Looks like we're going to get our first eruption. Yes. Let's get this analyzed. Very nice. I'm temporarily going to have to remove this insulated tile so the rest of this water can turn into steam. Although, what happened to all my water? Who mopped it up? Surely that wasn't me. Let's go ahead and empty that. No. You are not bringing that water anywhere. I want it to be emptied. Thank you, Deox. Water in. And the water is about 36°C. It's going to take a couple of eruptions. It's no big deal, though. Yes, more heat. I suppose we also need to fill this cooling loop. We'll come out of here insulated. That's fine there. I'm going to need to put an aluminum tile right there and then pump a liquid in here. What are we going to use? We don't really have much around here other than all of this. I could just tap into it, grab some polluted water off of it by using a liquid filter. Everything else will go back through. The polluted water will come up, and then we'll bridge it on just like this. I'll make sure the thermal aqua tuner is not going to turn on. We finally have some steam. It's a decent enough pressure, not too shabby. And the whole idea that we're looking for is I need to get all this liquid away. That way I can put in the liquid pump. And I actually do not want the temperature in here to become below 115 degrees, at least for this little weird design to work. Alternatively, we could have put the thermo-aqua tuner and steam turbine to the side and then just independently cooled this area to whatever temperature we wanted it to be, say 35 degrees. But I wanted to try something a little new, and I wanted to mirror this design a little bit, which also means I'm going to need a little valvey boy right here. I'm also expanding our little chilling section because of the way we're going to be doing it, not using an auto sweeper, but rather using a liquid pump. I'm going to need an area to where I can get the pipes in. In fact, I'm going to need a little bit bigger of an area because looking at the liquid sulfur geyser, the average output is 1.5 kilos per second across its lifespan, which means I need to be able to get rid of 1.5 kilos per second. So this is going to be a little tricky and probably overcomplicated. Welcome to Echo Ridge Gaming. I'm going to move some of these pipes out of the way, probably hook it up just like this. And why are you showing unreachable build? Oh, you can't get in there. One of the issues of creating heat in here is because it's averaging its temps with this 4 tons worth of 70 degree sulfur. So I need to start sweeping this out so we get nothing but all the good heat. Right now, this place is a vacuum. Sulfur is not the strongest of all materials when it comes to transferring heat around. If we go down to the bottom, we can see the thermal conductivity is only a 0.2 and its specific heat capacity is 0.7. Also, on the bad news front, Gina hasn't found anything. I'm supposing these are, in fact, the tundra biomes, but you'll notice there's no buried objects, and there's no sleet wheat naturally growing. So I'm going to say the star map lies, because while this might be a tundra biome, it's not our typical tundra biome, because our tundra biome, as we showed before, is supposed to have sleet wheat. I'm not bitter, you're bitter. Over in our awkward-looking tamer, we are going to turn the thermo-aqua tuner on. It'll also help create the steam bath that we're looking for. I'm just going to have to keep an eye on the polluted water situation. And what happened here? Oh, yeah. This is a boo-boo. There we go. That's much better. I've also temporarily stopped the flow from that pond and from the overflow in our water tanks, which means the system will probably get stopped up for a little bit. But this is going to be perfect for our coolant line. I think I'll just take a little bit more. There's no reason to get too aggressive with this, because, like we said, sulfur is pretty easy. Now this is perfect. I am going to end up putting another tile here because I want to keep the sulfur on this side where the pump's going to be. So we're going to block it off here. And then I'll probably end up just picking this up just like this and dumping it over here. Next up is going to be our wonderful liquid pump. Easy peasy. We'll make it out of steel. We're going to bridge right over this. And here's where the magic's going to happen. I'm going to put a bridge here and a bridge here. And then I'm going to take 2 liquid valves, because we're going to be separating these packets into 1 kilo packets each. That way, when the sulfur goes through them, there's no chance for them to flash. This one will go in here, and then this one will go into here. The only thing I got to figure out is this little situation here, and I think I can solve this by having this whole thing be cooled down from this side. This is the way right here. And then I'll have it come out and rejoin right about there. Oh, Echo, can we not build the liquid valves out of aluminum? That'd be great. Thank you. Now for a little bit of pipe spaghetti on our system that maybe will work. We're going to come over here and then go up into a radian here. This one's going to come right out there. Now you might be wondering, why would we want to expose these metal tiles to the outside atmosphere? Isn't that going to be ruining a little bit of the cooling potential? And you'd be right, except for the fact that, well, we're only cooling everything down to about 20 degrees. And, well, the environment isn't much off of that. So it doesn't really matter too much. At least, that's the theory. I also needed to snip this line right here because, well, all of this is sitting here and will cause a problem as soon as we let everything out for the first time. Now we're going to add a couple of vents. And what these vents are going to be doing is taking the 1 kilo out per second. But that 1 kilo is going to be super chilled down to its flash point. So as soon as it comes out of the vent, it's going to turn back into its solid form of sulfur. Or at least, this is the theory. This whole episode could have been a waste. We'll see. To make this a little prettier, I could probably use a bridge right here. And I think it's about ready. Sink this, and then just connect this one. Let's see how it goes. 1 kilo's coming out. That way it does not flash or crack the pipes. Why is this not connecting? We now have 3 kilos of liquid sulfur in this line. Oh, this wasn't done yet. No! All right, we're gonna give a little bit of cracking for a second. Let me disconnect this once again. All right, here we go. 3rd time's the charm? Maybe 4th? Oh, beautiful. And look what's happening. Now, how much of the sulfur is chilling? Looks like it's coming down to about 25 degrees, which is pretty good. Maybe it would be better if we did another stack. Yes, I think this is a little bit better. The sulfur's now coming out at about 23 degrees, and so far it's working just fine. Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated than some other systems you could have used, but we tried something new. Big wins for us. And this system will only get better and better because right now we're able to transfer 2 kilos per second worth of liquid sulfur. So eventually it will get all caught up. We do have a small mess here, but that's not a big deal. I'm thinking about leaving this up. In the meantime, yeah, it'll always have this sort of sulfur layer because this is already too big for me to vacuum out. But that's not too big of a deal. Yeah, we're leaking some heat out to the side, but I can seal that up, no big deal. So I think that's what I'll do, because during the dormancy, all this liquid level will go down, we'll get back in there, mop it up. But in the end, I'm pretty happy with it. Our metal tiles are sitting around 25 degrees and we're pumping out sulfur just fine. In the future, what I'll probably end up doing is putting an auto sweeper here and then manually delivering the sulfur wherever it's needed. I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to continue to operate here in the next little while. And like I said, if you're doing this in your own colonies, there are definitely more ways to skin this pip. For instance, like we spoke about before, you could have the thermo aqua tuner and steam turbine set up over here, and then just put the radiant liquid pipes through it, which will continuously cool all the sulfur, turn it into a solid, and then you can use an auto sweeper to take it out of the sauna. Over on Vitaliel, not much luck. Poor Jenna, maybe, is it Gina or is it Jenna? Has spent all this time over here without much success. There is no sleet wheat, which, let me tell you, really just tickles my fancy. We're gonna put Jenna back into the suit and send them home. Thank you for your service. You did great, it wasn't your fault. I know it's been about a week since I uploaded the last episode here in the farm series. I hope some of you have been enjoying the couple of lo-fi episodes that we put out whenever you needed some chill music to sleep or study to. I did sit down to record another episode of this last week, but in between the digging and everything else going on in the colony, I just wasn't able to come up with a good enough episode. The series has been sort of trudging along for me. So if you have any ideas of what you'd like to see as we continue this series, other than just more plants and more critters, let me know. I'm also going to be trying to introduce a little bit of new content onto the channel to continuously expand our reach, so if there's some other games you'd like to see covered, let me know that too. I hope you enjoyed this episode and are looking forward to more in the series. So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.